Hello, everyone. Welcome into the Voice of College Football, GBR. Leave those comments and questions in the live chat for the next 60 minutes. We're talking Husker football on the eve of National Signing Day, of course, edition number 2. Most of the guys are signed in December, but still some interesting prospects out there. So let's talk Huskers here with, of course, the guy that makes it happen. Got Greg Peterson here from Husker Online. Hey, Greg.
Hey, Mark. How you doing?
I'm good. What's going on?
Oh, nothing. Running around like a crazy person.
Oh, just not a crazy person. You're running around like one.
Yeah. So,
okay.
So, getting ready for signing day tomorrow, which not a whole lot going on besides I think we'll just have a cup of coffee in the morning and see if Nebraska picks anybody up, and then go listen to Coach Frost speak about the class tomorrow afternoon. So that's about all we got going on here at the moment.
Well, one of a couple names that's pretty prominent right this second would be Janiran Bonner, if I pronounce that correctly, out of Georgia. He's a top 50 wide receiver. He's 33rd rated player in the state, and he's a 4-star that I'm looking at this article by Sean Callahan on that place, Husker Online, right now.
Yeah, there's always some surprises that usually pop up on signing day, and this was one that just kind of materialized overnight, basically, for Janiran Bonner. And we found out that actually he had a sneaky little secret visit here over the weekend, which is that's pretty hard to do, is to keep something like that quiet in this day and age. But he showed up and checked out campus, and he is a Georgia Tech commit at the moment, and a guy that did not sign on the early signing day. So he's been open kind of since then. He's still been a soft verbal commit to Georgia Tech, but he checked out Nebraska, and to all reports is that he really liked what he saw here in Lincoln. And it's going to come down to Georgia Tech and Nebraska tomorrow, it sounds like. So I like Nebraska's position here in this. And like you mentioned, he's a 4-star. And, he's out of Cedar Grove, Georgia. Nebraska is very successful recruiting the Georgia area. Sean Beckton definitely leads the charge there in that state. And, he would be a welcome addition to this recruiting class. He's got a 6'3" frame, about 100 pounds, and you kind of like the tools that he's got. And he performed well at camps before last season started, and he had a pretty good year for his senior year there in high school. So that's a name to watch for Nebraska to possibly pull tomorrow. And kind of like we were just mentioning, it's kind of a slow signing day for Nebraska this year. So I expect that Bonner being the one name to watch, and the other one's a guy that we've talked about, who we talked about last week, which is A.J. Allen, the running back out of Monroe, Louisiana, who's a TCU commit, who committed, quite some time ago to Coach Applewhite, and they've been recruiting him heavy. He took a visit here 2 weekends ago and had a great visit, and which also prompted last week an in-home visit from Coach Applewhite, Coach Frost, and Coach Mickey Joseph. So Nebraska really putting the push on for A.J. Allen. So that's what Husker fans have to look forward to tomorrow. I don't expect anything else to fall, but look for A.J. Allen and Janiran Bonner to be those two names that Nebraska adds to this 2022 recruiting class. And they move forward for spring ball after that.
So as Greg mentions, Memphis and Georgia Tech, who Bonner committed to, in the mix along with the Huskers. Bonner caught 50 passes as a high school senior, 816 yards, about 16 yards per catch, 9 touchdowns, carried the ball out of the backfield a few times as well. And as you can imagine, had some kick returns there as well.
That's a pretty solid season for any high school wide receiver.
Absolutely. Still trying to track down AJ Allen's numbers on. You can usually find those on Max Preps,
Yeah.
but I'm not tracking down the right guy there. So
Yeah.
we
Well,
will.
unfortunately, with that, nothing's ever foolproof, and Max Preps depends on the high school to actually send those stats to Max Preps. So a lot of times, high schools don't get those stats in a timely fashion.
Well, the problem this time is I'm pulling up AJ Allen and it's giving me statistics from 2014 and 15. So that's obviously another
Wrong
AJ Allen. I think it is AJAY, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're not giving me the right guy. So anyway, so 2 possible targets there. Who, again, I'm sorry, Greg, I know that you just said it. Who's also in the mix for Allen?
Well, besides TCU, Mississippi State would be
Okay.
the other team that you're watching there. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
There it is. And also a familiar name that's committed now here in the last 24 hours on the defensive side of the ball for 2023.
Yeah, and that's kind of a cool deal. And Husker fans are well aware of the last name, which is Boodle, Dwight Boodle, which is the younger brother of DiCaprio Boodle, who starred here for several years, and is a guy that's going to be playing on Sundays. So, or is playing on Sundays, and yeah, really cool. I actually got to see Dwight at a camp. What do I want to say? About 4 years ago, 4 years ago. I don't know. He was like an eighth grader. I want to say. We were down in we were down in Miami. We were down in South Florida, and we were at one of the Adidas camps at Florida International. It was, and we were just kind of walking from field to field, and all of a sudden, a couple of guys stopped us and said, "Hey, we know you." And it turned out to be DiCaprio Boodle's older brother and his dad. And obviously Dwight was there working out at the camp. So obviously we went over there and watched him, and I shot some video of him when he was just a little dude, and he loved Nebraska then, and that family loves Nebraska, and he wants to carry on his brother's tradition here that he started. And yeah, real cool deal. 2023 class starting to shape up, and Dwight Boodle's a guy that has plenty of other opportunities to play, but he wants to come to Nebraska and follow in his brother's footsteps. A 3-star corner out of Miami Killian. So chalk up another recruit out of the South Florida area, and obviously we know his bloodlines are pretty solid, and they bleed that scarlet and cream. So cool. Good deal for Nebraska. I like that pickup a lot, and I like the way that this class is already starting to shape up.
We've got a ton of the regulars here in the live chat. Appreciate all of you regulars that are loyal here each and every week, like Alan and Moonbot and Samuel and Lewis. Even though Lewis is a Michigan fan, he's always here, and I don't want to miss anyone. Dewey's here and all sorts. Kyle's here. Samuel wants to bring up the weather. He wants to know, Greg, if it's snowing there in Nebraska. Of course, he's out in Hawaii.
Yeah, that's a shame. That's too bad. He doesn't have to ever wear shoes. Yeah, I envy that. But no, it's not snowing. Not snowing today. It was actually 60 here yesterday. So, but yeah, we're back down into the low 30s again now, and but no, luckily no snow. I actually still have a little bit of snow left in my front yard, and that never gets any sunlight, and that's despite having 3 or 4 days in the 60s since that snow. But yeah, not a whole lot of snow falling around the plains here this winter. I'll take that.
I think it's coming your way, isn't it? I saw a national map that just showed this just massive front coming from around the Rockies, Colorado, and then just blasted up for the next several days and coming our way in New England.
Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to dump much participation on us here. I tongue-tied myself there, but no, we're just getting a lot of cold, windy stuff right now. Which makes the wind chill a lot chillier than it actually is.
D-Rock, good to see you. Another regular to all the shows. Notre Dame fan here to check out Nebraska football talk. So D-Rock Irish is hitting on something that we actually were talking about a number of times here with you. We were also talking with our guy Corey on the Iowa show a couple hours ago about the timing of National Signing Day. And, you know, where do you think this is going? Do you expect this these two dates in December and February to stay, or what's the talk out there about what's working, what's not working, and where do you think it would be most effective to have that NSD one day a year?
Yeah, I really do believe. I think we're moving back to that model of just having one. Ever since they made this second signing day, it really hasn't worked out the way that they had planned on it, and it's just become the first signing day there in December. That has become the heavy signing day, and unfortunately, that is right there at the end of the season. Teams are either playing for championships or they're getting ready for a bowl game, and coaches it's just too much at once for coaches. So coaches are leading the charge on this, and I see it moving to kind of more of a neutral, like in January. Maybe first or second week in January is what I'm thinking of more after most teams are done with their bowl seasons. Maybe you still have the college playoff left, and that's about it. But I think it makes a lot more sense for everybody. And there's a lot of discussions going on behind closed doors about it. And I think it's just the logic dictates that it's just not working the way they want it to, and it just puts too much on the coach's plate right there at a critical time of the season for most programs that are still have aspirations to keep on playing. So yeah, it's kind of just, I don't know, it's not working the way they envisioned it to work.
And especially for those teams that make it to conference championship game, that eats up another week that gets very close to what was this year, December 15th, and takes away that extra week. I've heard all sorts of stories about especially the coaches that have to coach in the conference championship games. As soon as that game's over, bam, out the door within 10 or 15 minutes and got to go. Yeah. And get back at it because they've lost some time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're trying. I mean, if you're a coach, you're running around like a chicken with its head cut off. Basically, you are jumping on an airplane every chance that you have to go make an in-home visit somewhere, because all of a sudden you got to be closing that recruiting class out, and at the same time, and think of somebody else, maybe a coach that, okay, say you have a player there that's been invited to New York, who's a Heisman finalist. All of a sudden now you got to fly to New York as well for a night, and that takes away recruiting time from coaches too. So there's just too much going on right there in December for this to work properly the way that they envisioned it to.
So Jose is wondering about when the Nebraska helmet's going to show up. Let me see if I can find. So here's the deal. Let's see if I can find this. So the deal is that we have set up a place. There you go. There's your spot right there to send us any kind of helmet you want. And of course, Nebraska, there's the priority right there to send it to Mark Rogers. You got 15 South Main Street, number 1007. Torrington, Connecticut, 06790. There you go. Anybody want to send me helmets? That's where you send them. Got that all set up. All right. What's next? We've got, that was Jose.
Huh.
Zach Taylor doing a nice job with those Bengals.
Yeah, he is. Nice to see.
Those NFL playoffs have been ridiculously good.
Yeah, I would. It's hard to think of one that was any more exciting than what we've seen this year.
Bebo says it's a little frustrating when we keep reeling in skill position targets when offensive line and defensive line are the critical positions now.
No, I agree 100%. And, I expect, you're taking what you got right now as you head into spring. And obviously, we know that every spring you're going to have some attrition after spring ball is over with. And, you look at a lot of those skill positions. I especially look at the secondary where they've added a lot of bodies to that secondary. And there's a lot of newcomers back there, and there's a lot of guys, a lot of young guys that have been on this roster that I think that, there's going to be a lot of competition there. And there's a lot of guys there that by the end of spring that I think are going to decide to move on because, they didn't crack that top 4 or 5 in that rotation. So I see some open spots there that I think that they're going to address with offensive line help and defensive line help. That's a no-brainer. And, you want to see how things shuffle out on that offensive line under new offensive line coach Raiola. So, yeah, there's a lot of moving pieces right now on both of those lines. And, you see Nebraska losing a lot of guys on that defensive line. So you definitely need to add a few more bodies in there, especially because you just lost Jordan Riley, just entered the transfer portal. And that hurts. He was a big run stopper in the middle there that played behind Darian Daniels. And you had hoped that he was going to step up and be that that stopper in there this year, but he's moving on he's a 6-year guy too. So wish the best of luck to Jordan Riley.
Lewis Papp is telling us, and I went to the Wolverine.com, is reporting that Jim Harbaugh has signed with the Minnesota Vikings.
No way. Wow. Didn't see that one coming. Minnesota Vikings. Wow. Huh.
I taped a segment with Michigan Podcast today, and their information was, that he was flying to Minnesota. Oh. But, that's what the Wolverine is reporting.
Wow.
Jim Harbaugh gone.
Crazy.
Yeah. Never mind me, says Nebraska is going to play in the Big Ten championship game next year. Heard it from them first.
Okay. Hey, I wouldn't mind it. I'll take another trip to Indy any day. That's for sure.
I think it's possible. I think that division's wide open.
It's going to be fun to watch. That's for sure. It's too bad we have to wait all this time for the season to kick off there late August, but we're counting the days.
Bebo, any news on Woods and why he's not committing with Mizzou? Woods. Who are we talking about there? I don't know.
Woods. Out of Omaha. I don't know. I thought he had signed with Missouri. I stopped paying attention to Deshaun Woods' recruitment, after he kind of gave his nose up at Nebraska, and I'll have to look into that. No, I mean he's a heck of a good looking offensive tackle. We would love to have him here at Nebraska. I mean, unfortunately, he never grew up a Nebraska fan and stuff, and that's why he looked elsewhere. But I don't know if there's something going on there with him in Missouri that obviously I hadn't heard anything. I'll have to look into that.
We appreciate everybody being here, and certainly while we appreciate your presence, let other people know that we're here talking Nebraska football every Tuesday, 6 Central Time. So let's increase the crowd each and every week. Let 3, 4, 5, 100 people know that we're here. There are people that, of course, you're in contact with on Facebook and Twitter and elsewhere that don't know that we're here talking of the Huskers each and every Tuesday. So let them know. And, of course, you can contribute here, the Voice of College Football, Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App. Just if it's for the Nebraska show, just make note of that. Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App, or on the Super Chat right here on YouTube.
The latest thing I have seen on Deshaun Woods is that he was still locked in with Missouri, and that was about a month ago. So I don't know if there's something has developed there or not. So I have to ask around, I guess. I don't know.
Greg, whoever you put in the category of sleepers, Benjamin is asking for sleepers going into spring ball.
Going into spring ball. Oh, boy. I think Omar Brown tops my list right there. The transfer from Northern Iowa. I really believe Nebraska got a steal in him, and I think he's going to be a guy that's a mainstay back there in the secondary this year. I think he's going to come in and fight right away for a starting job, and I think he's a guy that we're going to be talking about quite a bit all year. So he tops my list for sleepers coming in this class.
All right. Folks, you've got a wide open avenue here with comments and questions coming in. We've hit all of our recruiting notes for the day. Do we know when spring ball does start?
February 28th.
Oh, it's coming.
Yep.
February 28th. So we've got only about 3 more shows before spring ball starts. Okay.
Yeah, can't wait to see all these new faces and give them all the eyeball test.
Yep.
That's always fun.
Good.
That's always fun. Especially that first opportunity that we get to come herding through the doors with our cameras ready to take video and take photos. That's always there's a lot of elbows being thrown by the media trying to get a good spot there along the sidelines of the practice fields, and everybody's chomping at the bit to get the first look at all the new faces and all the new bodies on the team.
Yeah, of course, Casey Thompson's going to get a whole lot of attention.
Yeah, you think? I'm pretty sure that that's going to be a log jam down there where that quarterback group works out during the practices. And what's cool too to look forward to, something that more for me, for somebody that gets to be there, is that you got a whole new coaching staff on the offensive side of the ball. Besides Sean Beckton with the tight ends, and so it'll be interesting to see what they do. Because every coach has a different style and does different things in practice as far as drills and position work. So it's going to be interesting to see what all the new coaches, kind of the differences that in the routine, the daily routine of practice that we've been used to here under the old offensive coaching staff.
Jack says or asks, who's going to fill the big time edge role? We need more than 20 sacks in the Big Ten.
Yeah, obviously. And we've talked about it before. I think Garrett Nelson leads that charge. I think he steps up and becomes that pass rusher that every Saturday is the guy highlighted there, on players to watch on both sides of the ball before the game starts. I think that he's got that ability. He's definitely got the attitude and the want to be that guy. And I think he knows now that it's his turn to step up. It's his time. He grew up dreaming about being a Husker, growing up in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, and that dream came true. And he's one hell of a football player, I can tell you that. He's one of a kind. You don't see many guys like that. You know, I if I had to compare him to somebody, it would probably be Dick Butkus. That's just the kind of attitude that Garrett Nelson plays with. And then, you know, you got younger guys there that you haven't got to see get much of a chance yet. I'm curious to see what Tate Wildeman does, given the chance, because he was that kind of player in high school as well. I went and watched him play out in Colorado when he was a senior in high school, and he was tearing it up as a defensive end. He was a monster, and just, you know, he's been sitting behind people since he got here, and now he's going to get a chance to become a leader too. So I look at those two guys to start stepping things up, and you know, whatever we see here in spring, I'll have a lot better idea then when I kind of can take a look at the rotation of who they're using there. Because remember, Mike Dawson is sliding into that defensive line coach position. And you know, you've lost a lot of guys off of last year's defensive line. Obviously, losing Coach Tony Tuioti makes a big difference. So it's going to be very interesting to see exactly who they have working out where here when spring camp opens up here in a few weeks.
Garrett Nelson is coming off a season with 57 tackles, 11.5 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, and coming off a sophomore season. So that was the COVID year. So he had a 2019, 2020, and 2021, but this is just going to be his junior year technically. Unless, of course, he has a big year and he could move on from there, but we shall see.
He's not a guy. He's not one of those guys that's looking to move on. I think he wants to do everything possible he can for this program, and if that means waiting an extra year to play on Sundays, he's the kind of guy that you know, he puts everything into his school and his coaches. So yeah, I expect him to use his full time here.
Samuel's been checking out the interviews that you guys have been posting there and wants to know if they're NIL related.
Yeah. Sam, we talked about this last week. I know there was some comments about that too. And yeah, Sean's doing a great job with that stuff. Yes, it definitely is. It is completely NIL related. We have ourselves, Husker Online has an exclusive partnership with ABM, which is Athletes Branding and Marketing LLC, which is headed by Jared Lambrick, who is, you know, Coach Frost's former chief of staff. And you know, a lot of people think that you know, Jared left the program because Trev Alberts came in and forced him out. And no, that's completely false. Jared knew all about NIL, had it figured out from day one, and this was his plan. And he is the one who's making NIL go, especially for the men's basketball and the men's football programs, but also he's involved with the volleyball program as well. So everything is funneled towards Husker Online, and obviously we have the facilities to pull this off as well. But actually, Sean's doing most of this from his basement. So yeah, we're the ones with the abilities to do this. We're the ones that have the relationships with this. And unfortunately, our competitors are left hanging because Husker Online was first to the table on this. We knew it was coming when we found out all about NIL becoming a thing. We're the ones hooked into it all. And, you know, the sponsors for all this, Husker Online is not making money off of this. The kids are the ones that make all the money off of this. The boosters and the supporters of the program are the ones that put up the money for this, the sponsors, and they're not looking for return either. They're putting money into the program for the program, for the kids. This is all for the kids. So, when these guys now have an opportunity to make money, it spearheads the whole recruiting process of things that you can offer players to, you can come here, you can make a lot of money on the side with all the NIL possibilities that you have. So yeah, we're completely locked in with this, and we're very lucky that we have the relationships that we do with the football program and all those other entities involved with the football program, and that's why Husker Online is the leader in Nebraska football coverage, period, hands down. And I know, and to add on to that, Sean has it. Every single transfer, every single incoming freshman, we've either interviewed or we will be interviewing. Sean's every week is filled up. He's doing at least one every day. So yeah, it's cool stuff, and you learn a lot. You get to know these guys before they even play a snap here. So pretty cool deal the way NIL's kind of worked out.
Absolutely. We are lucky enough to get Greg here every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock Central Time. So join Greg on Husker Online, and specifically Husker Online video right here on YouTube for everything that Greg was just running down right now with interviews and practice footage with February 28th. Boy, we are 27 days away from spring practice. And, of course, basketball's going on right now as well.
Yeah, don't mention that. Huskers have a tough one at Michigan and Ann Arbor tonight here in about an hour and a half. Still looking for that first Big Ten win of the season. By the way.
Still haven't gotten that. Wow.
No.
So
but you know what?
0-5.
But those guys, it's probably worse than that. I don't even want to look. But yeah, you know what? The NIL is strong though. The 5-star Bryce McGowan's he gets plenty of FaceTime and plenty of podcast time under those NIL opportunities. So he's having fun.
Okay. Let's.
So I see prediction.
Yeah, it's a lot worse than 0-5. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ugly. It's
twice that.
It's gotten extremely ugly. Yes.
John wants to know if you've got any idea who the starting center is going to be.
Yeah, center position. Obviously, there's a lot of guys that are going to compete for that. And you got guys that have some experience there. Trent Hickson's a guy that comes to mind that has worked out a lot at center during his time here at Nebraska. I wouldn't be surprised to see Turner Corcoran move over, and he could end up being starting center. He can play all three positions on the line, obviously, and and that's another spot that's going to be interesting to see who they're using there. Henry Lutowski could be another guy that could see some reps at center as well. So very interesting competition there, and going to see how that thing works its way out there in spring ball and then on into fall camp. Ethan Piper's another guy that could possibly play some center as well.
Alan trying to get us to 30 likes. Hopefully we can do a lot better than that. We got 94 online. We probably had 200 or 300 people through here in the last 45 minutes. So let's get way past that. Alan, we appreciate you getting after everyone to hit the like button. Don't really understand this question. So if you do, go ahead and answer it.
I always get confused when there's only one G on my name. I don't know who they're talking to, but let's see. Who would you want to recruit?
You don't get the extra G. I get the additional D.
Who would I want to recruit? I mean, if you had your pick of guys, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
obviously you would take any of those guys ranked 5-star or any of those high 4-stars. I'd like to recruit. But yeah.
Somebody was in here saying that Casey Thompson was seen running routes with wide receivers.
Those guys got to keep busy there when they're not in class. I'm sure they're having fun, getting to know each other, and that's probably just another way for them to do that. I didn't see any of those reports and stuff like that, but hey, I mean, what else are they going to do right now when they don't have any real organized football activities going on besides winter lifting and strength and conditioning?
Absolutely. All right, everyone. If we are tapped out on questions and comments here.
I see John saying, how's Teddy? Yeah, we hope, haven't really seen much of any of the guys since the season ended, but, last I heard his rehab was going good. Hopefully he's, I doubt we see him in spring practice at all, but hopefully he's good to go for fall camp and can get back to that form that he was showing there as a true freshman when he cracked the lineup there, in the first half of the season before going down with that injury. And we're talking about Teddy Prohaska. Yep.
Okay. Roger Dodger. I believe Nebraska is going to be fine with the quarterback that they acquired from Texas. He's a good one.
Yeah, no, I couldn't be happier getting Casey Thompson. Caleb Williams, he might do great things, but I think you couldn't ask for Nebraska to do any better than they did by landing both Casey Thompson and Chubba Purdy. You shored up your quarterback position here for the next few years, with some experience to go along with the younger guys that you have on this roster, and you see a pretty decent sized quarterback room now as Nebraska moves into spring ball.
All right, folks, we appreciate you being here for Nebraska Live. We will be back here next Tuesday at 6 Central. And we'll do it all over again. We got about 100 in the chat. So if all of you would grab 3 or 4 people, bring them on in next Tuesday, that would be phenomenal.
Johnny,
all right, Greg.
Blue Label.
We'll let you get ready for some basketball.
Yeah, I guess everybody's talking about Johnny Walker now. Huh. Okay.
And it looks like I may need to get to work on Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, boy, that blows me away. I didn't see Minnesota Vikings in that picture at all. But I guess old Jimmy boy is satisfied with that final year there in Ann Arbor that going to go jump back into the NFL again.
Well, that's what I was thinking. So money's one thing. So most of us take a job where we're going to make the most money, but that's not necessarily the case here. I don't know. So put the money aside for a second. He's in such a unique position as in terms of what he's accomplished as a college coach, but also what he's accomplished as a NFL coach that I can't think of another situation where a guy is at his alma mater. He's finally broken through. He won a championship. He got to the playoff. He did the things that Harbaugh finally got done at Michigan, but he's also leaving behind an NFL career in which I'm sure he would like to go back. And now he's obviously made that decision to go back and try to win a Super Bowl, which he had a very successful run with San Francisco, but they didn't quite win the Super Bowl. So
got close. Yep.
Got real close.
Yeah, I'm sure. And that burns deeply with inside him, because he's been that rarity where he's successful at both levels, which you rarely see. And I'm sure that that Super Bowl ring means a lot to him, obviously. So that competitive spirit inside him. I think that burns that where he needs to get that Super Bowl ring. So, yeah, hey, great for the Vikings. Now, instead of my team playing him once every 3 or 4 years, now I got to see him twice a year. So, oh boy, I get to see I get to at least see the khakis a lot more often.
Yes, we'll see how the khakis look against purple. But and for anybody who's thinking, okay, well, the Vikings aren't really in position to win a Super Bowl. Well, just consider the NFL. The NFL changes. These teams, look at the Bengals. They were 4-12 last year, and now they're playing for a Super Bowl. The turnover rate in the NFL is so, there's about, I think I saw numbers on this where almost half the teams that made the playoffs in any particular season aren't going to make the playoffs. It keeps, you can only really count on the Lions being awful all the time. And the Browns used to be like that and kind of still are, but everybody else has a shot.
Well, yeah, and you look at that Vikings roster too. They're not far off. Obviously, they've got weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, with Delvin Cook and Justin Jefferson right there, Adam Thielen, you got 3 pretty darn good playmakers. Obviously, I think they're looking to make a change at the quarterback position, and they're hiring a head coach that has a little bit of experience playing the quarterback position at the NFL level. So, yeah, look out! I think Jim Harbaugh is probably stepping into a pretty good situation where they're not far off from playing for an NFC title.
Folks, if you've got a connection to a business that would like to sponsor, I can certainly set you up and let you know what the benefits would be.
There you go.
Sponsor here.
I love that. Roger Nodder's. Yeah, Tom Brady, head coach of Michigan. There you go. That's why Brady.
That's what he really wants to do.
That's why he waited till today to retire.
Yeah, he really wants to mess around chasing down 18-year-old kids around the country. All right. So if you want to sponsor here at the Voice of College Football, any of the team channels, any of the shows, but of course, we're talking to Husker fans right now. So the Nebraska channel right here, hit me up at MarkRogersTV at Gmail. I will outline all the benefits and everything we can do for you with a sponsorship. All right, Greg, maybe tonight will be the night. Win number 1 for the Huskers in the Big Ten.
Hey, let's hope so. I mean, they came close a couple days ago against Rutgers, but couldn't pull it out. But, hey, you never know. You never know.
All right, folks. We will see you back here next Tuesday night, 6 Central. See you then.